and see the ocean this morning. Because it's getting to the end of March, so it's a little bit lighter in the morning. I'm just walking me to work, so taking the beach way home. Looks nice up. Yeah, during the winter, like it's black. You can't see anything, you know. All you see is darkness. The darkness. You can take a cruise ship out there. You can get in on it. What the fuck just happened there? No, that's worse. Whatever. Oh, there we go. I didn't really learn how to do anything like that on this phone because I always get, you know, I get new ones so often that it's like I don't really learn how to do so. Yeah, it looks like a cruise ship. It's kind of hard to tell. Whatever. Let's see if I can fix this again. There we go. Oh, that's how you do it. It's a professional operation here. So they're making a big deal about this, the April 8th, almost said solar flare. That's probably happening on that day. That the April 8th eclipse. Schools closed in some areas for this thing. I was seeing that last night online. It's like, what? I don't think they've ever closed a school for an eclipse before. What the fuck is that? You know? And like I said before, I have a visitor at the channel that in the comments said that his town, in his area, he lives near the X of the situation. He said they're passing out flyers about it, and they're also telling people to prep. I don't know, I've never seen anything like this before for an eclipse. Usually just an eclipse happens and people like either see it or they don't. I don't know, it's kind of weird. A couple of the cruise ships out there. At least that's what I think they are. Yeah, that's a cruise ship, definitely. Look at that. Or cruise boat, actually. A ship is much bigger. That's a lot smaller. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know what to think about it. I'm reluctant to think of it as another one of these doomsday dates. Because every time there is one of these doomsday dates, nothing ever happens. You know, I've talked about some here, you know. Nice little area here. Guy, he has looks like a metal detector. Is that what that is? Yeah, he's like got one of those light helmets on his head. Doing metal detecting, picking up stuff. You probably pick up a lot of stuff here because there are tourists all the time that, you know, end up down the beach and... Oh, is that a camera crew? No, it looks like they're shooting some kind of thing. Camera reception. Is that a news guy? I wonder what the story is. Yeah, it's a news guy. It's a newscaster guy. I wonder what they're fucking talking about. I don't care enough to go mill around, but it's probably something. I mean, obviously, it's probably something. Yeah, fucking you think? No, they came out here just to set that up for no reason. Usually when they're down here talking about something, it's usually something bad, you know. So who knows? Maybe it's a crime thing again. That's the shower thing. So people when they come up out of the ocean, they shower into those little things. Oh, my fucking camera's way too close again. Let me see. Get back to normal. There we go. That's a little bit more normal. I was wondering why everything's so close. A lot more activity out here than normal. for like 6 in the morning. Usually pretty sparse. But I was noticing last night, me and Mia were walking around. I did a video last night, just regular schizo patrol, and a lot of people. So it must be some kind of vacation situation. April, no, it's March, into March, April, I don't know what the fuck it is, but again, more information. It's something, like a newscaster guy. It's something. I'm full of information here. I used to have a Steadicam switch used to come on to alert me that I can steady the camera, but it doesn't. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. Yeah. So on that date too, there's allegedly people have been saying that there could be some sort of solar flare type event, or it has to do with the Hydra stuff that I got to be very careful about how I talk about. The Hydras being little things that are in a thing. I'll put a picture up there so you might know what I'm talking about. It's supposed to be the eclipse that triggers those things to bloom or come out, you know. I have not purchased a flamethrower yet. I should probably get on that just in case. You can get them fairly, well, they run the gamut. Like some are very affordable, and then others are up to thousands of dollars, depends. But I don't know how we'll be affected over here, 3,000 miles from the mainland, a little dot in the Pacific. I don't know how we're going to be affected by it. Now, I mean, are we on the same grid as the US? I don't know why we would be. I think we'd have our own out here. Because why would you, I don't know. They could tell you anything though, and you really wouldn't have any idea. We don't know how they're even getting electricity. They're probably not paying anything. It's not costing them any money to generate it. They're just taking it out of the air like people used to do in the old-timey days when we used to have that Tech on all the buildings. Now they just use them as flagpoles and stuff. Like, why do all these things have a long point on them? All these buildings have antennas on them. Flagpoles. It's such horseshit. Like, as time goes on, it's sillier and sillier when you look at that stuff. Those pre-mudflood Tartarian type of buildings. That looks nice there. The moon over the Duke. Yeah, it's looks really nice out here. I don't come up here as much as I should. Well, because it's always packed with people, you know. I mean, it's just like I could roll out of my bed and be here in 5 minutes. I live right there, basically 2 streets down. Very lucky to live in this area, actually. And yeah, the way it's the way things are going with that eclipse, I just don't know how we'll be affected here at all. I'm sure we'll be able to see it, but it's like dead ball center over North America. That X marks the spot there. I forget exactly where it is, but it's kind of in pretty close to the middle of the country. I don't know. See how that turns out. I mean, that's one thing I like about being over here. I mean, it has its downsides too. They do a lot of weird shit here because there's not a lot of oversight, you know, being away from the US like that. And you don't, I mean, it's just supposed to be the US, but it's not really. The only reason why they have it is for the military setup. This whole place is a It's a postcard on a tank. It's a military base disguised as a U.S. state. And that's it. And it's not, in my area, you know, if you took away the palm trees, it's not all that different from most U.S. cities. In some of the more architecture. All the old Hawaii type stuff, they stripped out a lot of it. Like if you look at the pictures of old Hawaii, like there was, especially in this beachfront area, there's a lot of like architecture that would be more classically Hawaiian looking. A lot more like there's a lot more art, carvings, wooden stuff, a lot of like tiki looking things. A lot more things that when you, if you were to walk around, you'd know you're in Hawaii. Here, I mean, shit, it could be like, must be California. Some of it, kind of stuff. But yeah, so when's April 8th? It's like 2 weeks away. 2 more weeks. Yeah. A 2 more weeks meme. I really regret starting that. Two more weeks. Yeah, this fucking thing's real close up, huh? All you can really do is just, we can only react to what goes on. There's nothing that, like, we can do. If something does indeed happen, or some kind of doomsday scenario, it's, you gotta just take it as it comes. You can't prepare. You can't really prepare for something like that on the level of that size, like something that big. There's no fucking way. You know, there's nothing you can do. You can, you know, you can stock up on supplies or whatever, but what good is that? You know, if it's a couple days. And then there's the could be the 3 days of darkness meme that you always hear about. That was supposed to happen like several different times. You know, every time one of these kind of doomsday dates pop up, you know, you always hear someone talk about the 3 days of darkness scenario. I don't know. Yeah, we're just in that time now where they're going to continue to try to do gay bullshit, you know, and you just have to kind of trust in God. He's got us, you know. Well, he's got some of us. I don't know. He's got all of us. You have to kind of, you got to kind of get to know him. You know, you have to establish some kind of relationship with him. Because if you don't, you know, if you're lukewarm, you're going to get spit out. He's going to say that he never knew you, you know, like the Bible. And to start your relationship with God, you just talk to him, and that's it. That's all you got to do. He's sitting there waiting. He wants to hear from you. You know, you're the most important thing to him. If you haven't started talking to him yet, he's probably like, what the fuck, you know? Just, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to, don't listen to Christians, because they'll tell you have to do all this. I mean, I'm a Christian too, but you know, I'm a Christian with my own free will. They'll tell you have to do all this stuff. And there's always terms and conditions with those people. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And terms and conditions, to me, that's evil. Evil works with contracts. God doesn't. God doesn't have any terms and conditions. You can talk to him right now. You don't need them. But that's the problem, though. They don't like that anyone can just talk to you. Same thing with like the churches and organized religion. Like, they don't want you to be able to think about, talk to, or even access your own divinity in some way. You got to go through them because they know how to do it. No, you don't need any of those fucking freaks. You don't need a pedophile in a dress. You don't need those the Christians telling you you're going to hell every 5 minutes for everything. Yeah, you want to talk to God? First you have to go to hell. So, all right, okay, well. And I try to. I know I come down on them hard, but all my experience, not all, but most of my experiences with the more hardcore are just negative. They chase people away from God. And same thing with religion. Religion has nothing to do with God. The church has nothing to do with God. As far as you being able to have a relationship with God. You just talk to him. He'll talk to you back. In a weird way. Like, he doesn't, like, obviously say words in your head. Maybe some people, I don't know. But with me, it's like you get back, it comes back to me in feelings, synchronicities, messages during the day. He'll answer you. He'll answer what you're thinking, what you're asking, whether it's picking up a book and reading something and there's the answer, that's what you're asking. He always gets back to you. He's not going to leave you hanging. And if you ask him to help you with something, every time I had to go to him to ask him to work something out, he over-delivered. You know, he over-delivered. There were a couple times when I had crises of, you know, faith. Not so much that, you know, I was like, I don't know if I believed in God, like that kind of faith, but more like am I doing the right thing? You know? And, once again, whenever I tell a story, I'm in this space that happened. This is where I first encountered the first angel experience I had, right here. It's kind of weird how it happens, huh? Every time I go to tell a story, I'm in the spot. And I was right here, and he was right where those people are. And it was nighttime, a little past midnight. He had sunglasses on, and he looked like your typical beach bum, like from a film or something. Like he was playing the part of like a beach guy. He had a beach chair. The only thing he was missing was the white on his nose. He had like everything else. And he's standing there staring at me with a smile on his face. So I'm thinking, it's not a crazy like homeless guy, you know, what the fuck? These people always bothering me, you know, because I'm a magnet for like insane people. I have a good story from over there from the other night, speaking of insane people, but we'll get to that. And at the time, I was having like a crisis, you know. I was feeling like I have all this information, I'm getting more every day, all these, you know, realizing things, and what am I supposed to do with all this? It was in the earlier days, when things were coming really hard and fast, as far as realizations and breakthroughs and information, all the stuff just coming in, a lot of downloads. I still get them, but it's just not as intense now because all the big stuff has already kind of come through my mind. Of course, I still haven't, you're still not going to figure out everything, but it was during that time, and it was really perplexing me. And as I walked by him, he goes, "Don't worry about it, you're doing a good job, you know, keep doing what you're doing." And I didn't say anything to him. I'm like, all right, you know, whatever. And then he goes, "Say hi to Craig." And then in that moment, I knew something, like I felt something. And I turned around and I said, "I know you." And he said to me, he goes, "And I know you." And then as he approached, he felt like he had a presence with him. Like there were other beings or something living around his body. But you couldn't see it. It was like this feeling of stuff. And when I was talking to him, the only thing I can describe it to be like is when I used to meet rock stars, and I'd get all tongue-tied before I, you know, got jaded about it. And I'd be like, "Oh, hey, I love your first album." I was like that with him. Like I got all tongue-tied, couldn't say what I was saying. I felt like a girl in school. Like I was just like, he's like, "I see you grew your hair out." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know." He said, And I don't remember if I said it worked for Samson or if he said it worked for Samson. One of us said that. Samson came out. And then he says, paraphrasing, because I'm trying to remember exactly, he was like, yeah, you're doing a good job. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about it. I was like, all right, man, have a good night. I didn't think really anything of it. It was only a couple days later that it all started to sink in. It all started to come to me. And then something else came to me. I was right over there where I was before, where I met him, right? This is before that. I'm walking through the mall inside. And there's a lot of people in there. There's a crowd in there, right? And a guy came walking by against me in the crowd, and he started calling for me. And again, I knew a lot of homeless people, a lot of people that here, and there's another crazy that he goes, hey, I thought he wants a cigarette or something. There's a lot of people like that on there. And I'm like, ignoring him. He goes, no, I know you. And I kept walking. He goes, no. He's like, no, I know you. Didn't think anything of it. That was him. In the same spot. I blew him off. That's why in that moment, for whatever reason, I just it clicked when he said my friend's name, because how would this strange guy know my friends? I don't know him. He doesn't know me. And that's when I just blurted out, I know you. And he said, and I know you. He said it like that. Really weird. Really, really weird experience. His description is just like everyone else's description that I've had angel encounters. Young, male, 20s, white, sandy blonde hair, no beard, no facial hair. The same one. Like if you look at people talk about, I only looked at these things after I had my encounter, or it took me a while to figure this all out. And I remember calling Craig the next day and saying, hey, do you know this guy, blah, 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 that described? He's like, no. Who could that be? Who do we both know? Other than like the, regular degenerates in our crew. It was no one we knew, And it just, over time, it became more clear, that what he was and what it was. What my experience was. And then I met him again. Me and Nia. Because I was having this crisis that Nia was thinking I was crazy. Because I'm always talking about having these demon encounters, talking to demons and talking to angels, and I was telling her. And I was worried she was thinking I was losing my mind. She always humors me, or I thought she was humoring me with my stories and my weird ideas and the stuff I'm experiencing. She's always real cool about it, but I didn't have peace inside. I felt like she just thought I was crazy. And we're walking up this way, me and her, one day. It's like a couple years later. And she knows I'm a magnet for strange people. They'll pick me out of a crowd and come up to me and try to start talking to me about something, whatever. So we're walking, and this guy rides by on a bike. And he's looking at me smiling, and I'm like, we're gonna have to deal with this guy. So I cut onto a street. We take a left, walk up right where I was, right by the police station, back there. Blah blah. How's your fucking articulation machine this morning? So we take that left going toward our house, and he comes around the corner with a bike. I'm like, here we go. And he pulls over a little ahead of us at a garbage barrel. So I'm like, he saw me, he's pulling over, he wants to talk to me. So as I get near him, I heard him say something like a question. I'm like, no, I don't have any more smokes, man. And he's like, no, I just need a light. And then when I got over to him, it was the same kind of feeling, this really warm feeling. And I became, again, and Nia was there, very tongue-tied, and she kind of became the same way. And he complimented me on my rings. Last time he talked about my hair. This time he's like, hey, I like your rings, nice rings. And then he didn't say anything else. He was going to start talking about something, and this woman came to him asking directions. Now, at this time, I thought he was just a weird street guy. And I'm like, and when he said he liked my rings, I'm like, yeah, I like having, you say stupid, so I say stupid. Like, yeah, I like having them because I want to get more of them, so when I walk, I can click them together, and he's like, well, you could do that now. I'm like, yeah, I guess. And then the woman came over to talk to him, and we walked away and got home. And when I got home, I'm like, that's a fucking angel. And she was like, she didn't say, no, what? She said it. She said it. I started talking about it somehow, and I'm like, that guy's weird. There's something about that guy. And she said, he's like one of those angels that I talked about. Because she felt all the same, way around him. And then I immediately left the house and started walking around the neighborhood looking for him. To talk to him, to find him. I never found him again. And me and Nia had conversations since about how at the time we just felt weird, but we didn't know, and it was the same guy, but I didn't even recognize him. And I have this theory that sometimes when you have these supernatural experiences, your brain will protect yourself, because that used to happen with all the demon characters too. I didn't know it at the time when I was dealing with them. It's only after a while that I knew what they were when I started going looking for them. But in the beginning, it took us a while to figure it out. We just thought there was like this crazy cult of homeless people that all talked the same and said the same things. And it's only later do you realize this stuff. I don't know what that is. But it feels like it's stronger with the angels than it is with the demons. It sounds schizo, I know, but that's just what happened to me. It's what happened to us. And what it did for me at that second time was it took care of the Nia thing. Because now she had an experience too. And it solved that problem. So yeah, what I'm saying, if you ask God for things, those are a couple of times when I needed him and he over-delivered. He sent one of his dudes, It's kind of crazy, man. I never saw him again or anyone like that again, though. Alright. It's time to go into Longs. I don't even know what I'm down here for. Guess we'll look at the Hot Wheels, see if there's any new Jesus magazines. Nothing History Channel. What is that? The National Geographic. They're always putting out these good magazines, like Places of the Bible, the Dead Sea Scrolls. And the last one I got, The Life of Jesus, had some really interesting stuff in it that I found really weird. I'll have to do another one of those Back Cave magazine reads. I haven't done one of those in a while. Maybe I'll record that later with the new Jesus magazine. Because there's some weird stuff, there's some modern stuff in there that's been injected into the story. Very British broadcasting company, if you know what I'm talking about. We'll look at it together eventually. I don't know if it's later, but it's going to happen soon. In the meantime, thanks for dropping by. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school. I don't even know what some of these guys are. What are they? Chickens, son? Rooster, chicken. It's all different colors.
Yeah, that's a white one.
Both family.
This one has white. I don't know.
They all look so serious.